time, right? You've been on the stop loss side of things for a long time. There must be things that you've seen kind of change and evolve as we've gone over the last 36 years. Is there anything that sticks out to you the most, or anything that kind of really surprises you, or
Underwriting in general was just, I still call it an art, but underwriting in general was nowhere near as complicated as it is today. I mean, basically, I underwrote on a piece of paper and an adding machine. That's how I did underwriting back then. We faxed out, proposals, we received faxes, and that was just when fax machines were getting started, right? The one constant I've seen, and I still believe, is that it's still a relationship-based business regardless of how long it goes, right? I mean, it's still about getting out, meeting people. We've just now started to get back out because of COVID, and now we're, shaking hands. Like in the last 3 weeks, I've been out west. I've had some visits in the Midwest. Continue to just try and meet people and get in front of people's faces, because if you want them to be the first person you remember when they have a question or they need something done on a case. Our CEO Brian Miller and I, we were out last week visiting a client out in Spokane, Washington.
Okay. And
just the fact that we were able to meet with him. In fact, the two folks we talked to when we were in Washington, the first person said, "It was great that you came out here to see me. I am so tired of doing these Zoom calls. The fact that you actually came out to meet me in person goes a long way." And I think that's vitally important, especially as we go into what I call this next iteration of where our industry is going. So I think it'll continue to be important. Always will be.
I think you just can't connect with people over the screen like that. No. So yeah, and and people were kind of sick of. They were sick of the Zoom calls and sick of that stuff, right? So I think it ran its course, and we had to get to that next step of getting back out, and it's nice to be the first person that gets back out and sees them and starts connecting. Right?
Exactly, because I heard Brian was telling me a story with you where they actually kind of gave you an award or something, or really recognized your effort and the fact that you were the last person they saw before the pandemic hit, and you were the first person they saw after COVID.
Right, I was the bookends on their pandemic. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I appreciated that. Now, did you do any napkin underwriting while you guys were out in Spokane, Washington?
I wish we did. I wish there was a prospect enough that we could have done that, but no, not yet. We'll get there though.
You probably missed those days though, right? You could get away with a lot more, but
man, I can remember literally you could do deals on a napkin in a restaurant or a bar. I wish it was that simple again, but unfortunately, that's not the nature of the beast anymore.
Right. I've heard the stories, but I've never witnessed it. But yeah, I've heard those stories from places I've worked in the past where they talked about, you could get the underwriter enough drinks in them and get them to commit to anything, right? And they'd sign off to something on a napkin, and then you'd write the deal the next day and be done with it.
Yep. Those actually were the days, because then you were the underwriter, but then if the decision maker was with you, and they, if they heard you, were with you, and they had to commit to it. So, they had to find a way to make it happen, right?
Right.
Exactly, because folks, even though they're drunk, they still got a good memory.
Right, that's right. But it was easier in those. There wasn't $3 million claims.
No.
And you were dealing with probably $15,000 spec deductibles, and at the most, maybe, right?
No. I mean, you still had that, but it was what's to your point. Before ACA went into effect, you had limited maximums, so claims kind of stayed fairly level. And now with all that happening, you're just seeing this explosion of claims.